You're a wizard, Harry.
It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. I can tell you how to bottle fame, brew glory, and even put a stopper in death.
It takes a great deal of bravery to stand up to your enemies, but a great deal more to stand up to your friends.
Hey everyone, welcome to Hogwarts, a podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to Hogwarts, a podcast. Today we are discussing Chapter 11, Quidditch. And as we mentioned in the Chapter 10 episode, Anna is back again.
I'm back.
She hasn't spurned the podcast from our epic debate that we had in Chapter 10.
I'm never going to spurn anything Harry Potter related.
No, not at all. We're still friends. We're still good, even though Gryffindor can be a little...
Whatever, Ravenclaw, get out of here.
Okay, all right. So we're going to talk about some Quidditch today. First up is the non-spoiler section. And I do want to shout it out because I did shout out a previous book, The Hogwarts of History being our namesake, and Fantastic Beasts being one of the books they had to purchase.
Yes.
Which was a charity book that JK did.
I own it.
I own it as well. Well, Quidditch Through the Ages is also
a charity book.
Also a charity book that they name drop here. So that's a nice kind of way of JK kind of pulling some, I guess, smaller details out of the books and making them their own separate deal.
Definitely.
So there's some interesting things that they drop from Quidditch Through the Ages. Like Harry mentions, there's 700 ways to commit a foul in Quidditch, most of which are against his position.
Yes,
So...
but that also, all of them he read in Quidditch Throughout the Ages, all of them happened in the Quidditch World Cup in 1473. Did you catch that?
I did catch that, yes.
Like, how old is Quidditch? 1473. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of nerded out a little bit, and
I would expect nothing less.
I'm not gonna say my math is 100% because math is not my forte, but based on a couple of things that will happen throughout the series. All right, the World Cup. Based on the fact that the Quidditch World Cup is held every 4 years, it would seem the very first Quidditch World Cup was held in 1473. But then that just makes me ask, is the Quidditch World Cup, we didn't always have the Super Bowl. Football existed before the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So did Quidditch exist before the Quidditch World Cup? And how do we find out? I feel like that would be, okay, it wouldn't be on my list of questions I would have for JK, but now I'm really intrigued and I want to know how old Quidditch is.
Did they mention it in Quidditch Through the Ages, the actual book?
It's been too long since I've read it.
It's been a long time
since I've read it. It's been a very, very long time, yeah.
Maybe that could be our homework.
Okay,
our personal homework at some point.
I'll take that.
Reread that, because I read it when I bought it whenever it came out, and I probably haven't picked up since. It's not exactly the most exciting literature. I feel like it was
literature. More kind of like a fun thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's literally, she did really well. She set it up as literally, though, it's a Quidditch Through the Ages history book, which is great. Not, again, the most thrilling thing to read in the world, but it's fine. Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I thought of that as the 1473 thing, as all 700 or so fouls taking place in one match.
Yeah.
How long was that match? 'Cause
3 months.
That could very possibly be. Otherwise, that is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I don't know how the players nor the officials keep track of 700 rules, especially to the point where they actually call all of them.
And actually catch all of them, because there's a lot going on in a game of Quidditch.
They also mentioned that the referees have a tendency to vanish and end up in the Sahara.
Yeah, that was funny.
How? How does that happen?
I mean, magic, I guess.
There's some funky stuff going on in that Quidditch match for an official to vanish and end up in presumably a whole other part of the world. I'm assuming this is all taking place in the UK. I'm sure there's
World
others.
Cup.
Yeah, there's others, but I'm assuming you end up in the Sahara, you're probably from Bulgaria or Ireland or wherever, and you're ending up in the Sahara. But there's not a whole lot in Sahara anyways. So.
No, there's not. Lots of things that could kill you.
Yeah. So that was a random thing where I'm like, oh, referee's just... But this is another one of those things where Harry learns it, and it's just like, well, that's odd, and then just goes away, like, never brought up. It's like... Okay.
Probably because Harry never thinks of it again.
Like, and it's just, like, so many people, and Ron is very guilty of this all the time, of just very nonchalantly saying something, and then just dropping it.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, wait, what? That seemed like it was important. But to Ron, it's just second nature. And I love Ron and Dean. I love this.
Oh, yes.
The Ron and Dean thing about Quidditch is great. And I love it because I've gotten more and more into soccer as I've aged. And him being a West Ham fan.
Mm.
And now I know what that is because now I'm more into soccer.
Sure.
And actually today, West Ham beat Manchester United. So if anybody's listening from the UK, West Ham beat Manchester United. Big upset, especially with Ronaldo being a new Manchester United player. Yeah, West Ham with a big win. So Dean Thomas.
Give him the red card,
there you go. Anyway, there's our Dean Thomas shout out. It might be the first time you shout out Dean Thomas on the
It is.
podcast?
I thought about shouting him out last episode when we were talking about Seamus, but yeah.
Seamus without an H, yes. So, Quidditch Through the Ages kind of dropped a few little tidbits. Anna made fun of me for looking at my outline because I like to make note of these as I reread the series. But we still see some players that some are mentioned throughout the series, some are not. And it might just be due to they're from a house other than Harry's, so they're not mentioned as much.
Yeah, we don't care about Slytherins.
By the way, Lee Jordan announcing.
Oh my god, so good.
How did he get this job? How did McGonagall let him do this?
Well, notice she specifically sits next to him throughout the entire match. Jordan.
I would just laugh the entire time.
I know, me too.
Hearing her over the microphone just correcting him constantly. Which is great, because he's very biased.
Oh, it's
he's a very biased
so good. Oh, wait. There's this one part that he has that is just, like, my absolute
Is it
favorite.
him saying it, like, 3 different times?
Yes.
3 different ways?
Yes,
he
it
has
is. Alright, wait for it.
I like that, too.
The part that was his least biased response. All right. Flint nearly kills the Gryffindor Seeker, which could happen to anyone, I'm sure.
So sassy.
My God, I love
so
him.
sassy. Yeah, Lee Jordan is a trip. I don't know how he hasn't been fired even after the... But that does bring into question, like, obviously this is a Gryffindor match. He's a Gryffindor.
Yes.
Obviously he's biased. Obviously he dislikes Slytherin. Fine. I kind of want to hear him do a Ravenclaw Hufflepuff game.
Agreed. Yeah.
Just for him potentially being unbiased.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
would be an interesting call. Because he obviously knows the game. He obviously knows the players and all that. And so, also he's friends with players on the Quidditch.
Like his very best friends.
Yeah.
On the
So,
Gryffindor team, yeah.
But shout out to McGonagall, who's right there and correcting him so he's not totally Gryffindor.
Which also, she's doing a much better job than him at being unbiased, even though we've already previously
much better
pointed out her favoritism for the Gryffindor
Yes.
Quidditch team. So kudos to her.
Yeah, I would love to be in the crowd for that because I would laugh so hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's a comment that we just had to throw in there for Lee Jordan. But the game of Quidditch, I think, would be fascinating to see in person. Like, if the magical world were a real place. We talked a little bit about real-life Quidditch on the Chapter 10 episode, where I had my story about covering it, and we had a Quidditch injury that we held him out. So, but if the magical world were real, and you actually got to go to a real Quidditch match, where they're actually flying around, what would that be like?
I feel like, especially the professional Quidditch matches with, like, you know, how Charlie Weasley could have been played for England.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those professional matches. I almost think I would maybe be frustrated watching them. Because, I mean, okay, so we're both hockey fans. Hockey is a very fast game.
Sure.
And sometimes it's really hard to keep track of the puck and what exactly is happening on the ice. I feel like Quidditch is timesing that by, like, 10. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's got to be so fast moving. How are you supposed to possibly keep track of the snitch, the quaffle, like
The
all these
bludgers flying around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I feel like watching it would potentially frustrate me. Playing it, I would very much want to try. I'm not going to by any means say I would be good or anything like that, but I would definitely want to at least try.
I have had that thought of like, what Quidditch position would you play?
I've had that thought too.
What would you play?
So I would want to be a chaser, but I don't think I would be a good chaser because I've been to enough like Harry Potter places that have had like hoops and quaffles for you to try. I'm not good at basketball. I'm not good at trying to get the quaffle through the hoops. So I think my actual best position, I think I would be a good seeker.
Okay.
I think I would be good at tracking down the snitch. I'm good at catching. That's what I would want to try out.
Okay. I thought about this too, and now you mentioned our hockey love.
Mm-hmm.
I played a little hockey back in the day, not on ice.
I didn't know
it was more
that.
floor hockey.
Okay,
I can't skate
enough.
to save my life.
Okay.
If I could skate, I swear I would actually have played real hockey somewhere. Because
cool.
I have a build. I'm 6'4". I'm a big dude. If I could just skate, I have hand-eye coordination. I could just skate, and I can't. I cannot skate.
That's sad.
It is, because I'd be playing for the Blackhawks. I'm 100% sure of it. I know I could if I could skate, but I can't. So, but back in the day, I was a very, very good goalie. But I wouldn't want to play that in Quidditch because I feel like it's a thankless, winless job because you have 3 goals to defend. Yeah. There's so many ways to score on you that it's just very, very hard.
Wood is always recognized as being an exceptional keeper. Like, I don't think it's necessarily thankless. It'd be tough, though.
It'd be tough because there's 3 chasers that you gotta go up against.
Yeah.
And if they have an actual organized attack, there's multiple ways they can beat you.
Yeah.
And you have to hope that your beaters can play good enough defense for you that you can stand a shot. It's hard.
Yeah.
So I think I would actually be a chaser. I'm too big to be a seeker, as previously just mentioned.
Yes, you are.
That's out for me. I could see Oliver Wood coming up to me in the hallway at Hogwarts and being like, "You're a beater. Let's get you a bat and let's get you pelting people." Because again, bigger dude. But I would want to be a chaser. I think I could be good at it.
You've got the basketball background.
I do have that.
I think you would be a good chaser.
And I will say this, though. You went to... So we're based out of Chicago. This podcast is based out of Chicago. So back in the day, it was a long time ago, before the 7th movie came out for sure, that they had a Harry Potter exhibit at the Museum of Science and Industry.
Yeah. That's where I found out that I would make a terrible chaser for the first time.
Because so they had an interactive exhibit where you can actually pick up real quaffle. A quaffle.
Which they were heavy.
They were surprised. They were like a kickball, except with like weird divots in it, so you can grip.
Mm-hmm.
It was a kickball size, like a little bigger than a soccer ball, probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was heavier than a kickball. It wasn't like that plasticky. It was more leather.
Yeah. But they had like goals set up, and you throw them through. It was a very interactive exhibit. And I remember standing there and trying to throw them through, and the grip was weird. Once you figured out the grip of it, you can do it pretty easily. So I was like, I could do that. So I guess that would be my position that I'd want to play at the very least. But so I agree. Going back to how this conversation started, got off track again. But I agree with you. I think it'd be frustrating to watch.
Yes.
And I agree with your reason why. It's just so fast, and there's so many moving parts. How to keep track of what you're looking for? Like, you'd have to have a game plan going in. Am I looking for the chasers?
Yeah.
Am I looking at the goals? Am I looking at the seeker to find the snitch? You'd have to almost have, your set game plan. And I wonder if they, televise it in a way, sending it out to, people's... I don't know that they don't have televisions, really, right? They have radio.
Yeah.
So,
Which would probably be better to listen to a radio. Anyway, I would hate to have to be the commentator.
Well, yeah, the commentator's got a tough job. The ref has a tough job.
Which, going back to Lee Jordan, he does an impressive job.
He does a very good job. But I guess if I'm sitting in my modern, not Harry Potter world setting, and I'm sitting watching a Quidditch match, I would want to have like the multi-camera box
Yeah.
on my TV and have like a camera that's only on the seeker or the seekers, and then have a camera only on the goalie, and
and the chasers, and
and have like those
play.
so I can like.
But I would still want like Pat Foley giving me commentary on the whole match, and like Pat Foley specifically. Like,
he does the Blackhawks games here in Chicago for one more year. He's retiring.
I know, I was so sad.
Iconic voice. So watching it in person must be hard, and I'm assuming they put like, for at least professional matches, they put up some sort of protective barrier for the crowd, because a rogue bludger.
I feel like not in the Wizarding world. I feel like in the Muggle world,
you're just on your own. Like they put up the signs like they do with baseball, like beware of rogue bludger.
Like, I mean, like, come on, they have bludgers hitting people in the head. In this very match that we read about, I think it was Alicia Spinnet gets taken out in the back of the head and drops a quaffle by a bludger. Like, how you just get hit in the head and continue playing? Like,
you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, well,
you probably shouldn't.
Obviously. But anyway, my point is, if those even exist, I don't think we're putting up protective barriers for the crowd.
Well, I mean, like in the movies, they always show the bludgers going like literally through the stands and like doing so much damage.
Oh my god, they do.
And I'm just like, professionally, you assume to have the money or the capability to like put in bludger resistant things or something that would make the crowd a little bit more safe, or maybe professionals are just better at actually hitting them.
That could be true. And
then receiving them and going to hit them again. I don't know, but whatever. It's just, there's so much hazard.
Yeah.
And to think that they allow this at a school with, and I get that first years aren't normally allowed to play, but like 11-year-old kids to like 17, and you're just like,
there's a big difference between an 11-year-old and I mean, even between an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Or a 14 and a 17. A freshman in high school or a senior is a big difference. So, yeah, it's a lot. I guess I never really put that into context either.
No, I never put that
Harry's 11 years old, and some of these Slytherins have got to be 6, 7 years, like later, older
like
kids.
You said, just name-dropping these Slytherins, and do we ever hear from them again? So some of them must be 7 years.
You know, it's a one-mention moment when she doesn't even give you a first name.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Bletchley, this is your moment, man. This is it. So, but no, I think it would be fun to be at, and also frustrating.
Yeah.
And then as far as playing goes, you have to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
Even if the best intentions of your, and even other, not the beaters, even like other chasers will try to mess with you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, the seekers will battle the seekers, and it's like a whole.
It's intense.
It's a whole thing, not including the weather. Like again, we're talking about,
right?
Or other things that might happen during Quidditch matches, which we may or may not find out later on in the series. So, it's challenging. It's a very challenging game. But anyway, I think that's all we got on Quidditch for right now.
For right now, for non-spoiler.
Hang around for the spoiler section. We have Anna's gonna give a little. She already did in chapter 10 when she came through, but she has some
Gryffindor.
She has some other rebuttal type moments from her listening to all of our other episodes. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll get into some other awesome Quidditch and non-Quidditch related things and spoilers. So hang out, stick around, and we'll see you back.
In the dungeon! General in the dungeon!
All right, so we are back from break, and we're going to get into some spoiler section stuff. We might have a surprise for you after the spoiler section. I think since we're talking about the Wizarding World's most popular game, most popular sport, we might play a game after the spoiler section. So stick around for that a little later.
And we're not competitive people at all.
No, never. But first, I want to give Anna a little time here. She's listened to all of the episodes, whether she's been on them or not. So thank you for that.
For sure.
And she's had some thoughts build up. She got a couple of them out in chapter 10 episode with the Gryffindor, her Gryffindor love.
Absolutely. Had to defend.
But she wanted to come at me from something I said a couple episodes ago. So, Anna, what gripe do you have?
You know, I didn't think it would be as big of a gripe as it was until I was listening to you. And, you know, looking back on like when I was on the podcast before, I mentioned my dislike of Snivellus, but I feel like I quite came across with how much I really, really dislike Severus Snape. And so...
You're going to make me defend Snape like hardcore in this?
I mean, you already did,
goodness.
dude.
Okay.
Like in episode 8, you and Elizabeth, obviously that was the potions master. And you were talking about Snape's treatment of Neville. And literally you said you were not defending Snape, like direct quote, but you really kind of were, love you, but you were kind of defending Snape and how awful he is to Neville. Like, you guys talked about how, you know, like, Neville melts Seamus's cauldron, and he's just, like, a nervous pack, and you were just like, I mean, Neville's not good. It doesn't matter if Neville's good. Snape is the adult in the situation, and then you literally asked, do you really blame Snape? And yes, I really do blame Snape, because, you know what? He's an adult, and he's grown into this 30-some-year-old man who is immature, he's stuck in the past, he's stuck in his Lily fantasy, he's still obsessed with the dark arts, hello, and now he's blaming all of his unhappiness in his life on a bunch of 11-year-olds. Okay. And that's how I feel.
Here's my defense of myself, not so much Snape. Here's my defense of myself. So... I also said that I don't condone him.
You did, I know.
And a lot of his actions throughout the series. I don't condone most of it. I am not a fan of Snape myself.
And I know that about you. I know.
I respect his skills. I respect his talents. He's a formidable wizard of substantial skill.
And he's a jerk.
Fair, and I'm not disputing that at all.
Awful person. I just feel like the world like thinks all is forgiven because of always. I'm like, hello, it's not. If anything, it's worse.
No, and I think Sammy did a good job
she did.
Describing that always comment. And we'll get closer to that later on. But here's the thing about Snape. The thing with him and Neville specifically is deeper than surface level. For a couple of issues. But the first one, look, we've been there. We've been there trying to explain something to someone, and they just do not get it. And Anna, you can't say that you haven't been there. I know what you do for a living.
Of course I have, but I'm a 32-year-old woman. Neville is an 11-year-old.
Out of professional respect, and I admire this about you, you don't go off on that individual for being an idiot because, you know, you do it's like your job and you want to keep it. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it's difficult.
But don't pretend like you haven't been there being like, dude, I have told you a million times. And again...
I'm actually really similar to Snape in that I find ignorant people who, like, don't use their brain very difficult.
All the Lily things aside, all the history things aside, part of his core personality is he really, really hates stupidity and ignorance. Like, that's just a thing that he really does not like.
Well, then maybe he should be a kinder person because he does not breed a whole, like, safe environment in his classroom. Would Neville has been as stupid and incompetent in
No, a lot
Snape's
of that is
class
stress and
if Snape
anxiety
wasn't
that he puts.
such a bully? Yeah. Although, we both know I love Captain America. Elizabeth did an awesome Captain America name drop in, I think it was the last episode. I don't like bullies, to quote Captain America, Steve Rogers. To quote Steve Rogers, I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from. I don't care what their fantasies are. Snape's a jerk.
So, on the surface, I think we've all been there where someone's being stupid when there's literally written directions on how to do something, and you don't mess it up. You mess it up to the point where you literally melt something. Like, it's not just a mistake. It's like you literally put people in danger because you melted an actual thing.
I know.
But to get deeper, and this is a deep dives kind of thing with Harry Potter, and that's fine. I think we've talked about his dislike of Harry for obvious reasons. Him and James did not get along, and there's some blame to go around everywhere.
I know. I'll take that.
Miss James Potter.
That's right.
So there's some blame to go around there. There's also some inherent bias towards Neville as well, that he has a resentment that lives very, very deep, that Neville is both Harry and Neville are completely
unaware of.
Yeah, they're not aware of it at this time.
Literally, the only people aware of it are Snape
Dumbledore.
And Dumbledore.
Yeah, those are the only two people. Because Neville and Harry, a day apart. So the prophecy, yes. So the prophecy that ended up leading Voldy to James and Lily could have led to Frank and Alice Longbottom.
And I think it would have eventually. I think he would have taken out James and Lily, and then had Harry not been his downfall, I think he just would have followed up by taking out Frank and Alice to be safe. But...
So I guess my question then becomes, is this a on the surface, like, kid, I have gone over this, it's literally written down, if you at least just follow this, you won't do that? Or is it a little bit of a deep-seated history bubbling up of like, this could have been different?
I'm sure it's both, but I'm still going to hold to my point. It's been 10 years at this point since Snape lived through that. Snape is just clearly living in the past. He shouldn't be putting all of his feelings towards like, oh, if Voldy had gone after Frank and Alice and Neville, maybe Lily would still be here.
Sure.
Like, of course he's going to project some of that, but I would hope, like, in my world, in my head, the wizarding world has some wizarding therapists. I would have hoped Dumbledore would send Snape to some wizarding therapy, and maybe Snape could work through some of those issues so that he wouldn't treat Neville the way he's treating Neville. And obviously that's not what happened. But that's what should have happened.
This is getting kind of off track, but very deep. This is getting even deeper on the deep dive. So Snape going to therapy. Here's the issue with that.
I mean, it wouldn't have happened.
Well, yeah, but let's say he's literally a trained and one of the best wizards in the world of keeping things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anybody would fail at therapy, Snape would just purposefully... He held secrets from Dumbledore. He held secrets from Voldy. He held secrets from everybody.
Yeah.
And he did it... Again, if you could hide something from Dumbledore and you can hide something from Voldy, you're doing... insanely profound work.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah, he's a complicated character. Whether you like him or not, or for whatever reason you like him or you don't like him, he's complicated, which is a credit to JK to give him a lot of... And this is what Rickman did so well, is kind of playing a lot of that subtlety of like, hey, I'm this, but I'm also this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call him a hero of the series. He does some heroic things that, again...
He does some brave things.
Which Dumbledore leads to maybe we shouldn't sort people so early.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Because, and we talked a little bit last episode about positives and negatives from houses. And we've talked previously about you probably have qualities of a lot of the different houses.
You
no
probably
one is
should
a one-note
have
person.
Qualities from all the houses.
If you're a one-note person, you're not a person. So you have to have a little bit of darkness, a little bit of light, and figure out a way to make it functional. But it's no, I don't defend a lot of what Snape is saying. Getting back to your original issue, I don't condone a lot of what Snape does throughout the series. He does have his moments, both of really dark and really great. So
that was my biggest rebuttal. That's what I had left to get off my chest.
Fair enough. I'm sure as we progress forward, you'll find other things.
Oh, undoubtedly.
But since we talked about Snape in the grand scheme of things, in the context of this chapter, there's some interesting Snape mentions. The first thing is Harry walks in on Snape. A very compromising position.
Reading as a child, you don't realize how funny that could
I
actually
have no
be.
idea,
Yeah.
but it is hilarious.
Oh, so good.
And my thing with Snape, and I just rattled off this thing about how he doesn't like a certain type of person, just that's who he is, which is fine, that's who you are. He goes to Filch
I know.
to help this out? Like, Pomfrey's not trustworthy enough?
But Pomfrey would ask questions. Pomfrey would be concerned why he was going near the three-headed dog. Like, I think
Filch would.
Filch wouldn't care. Snape's a teacher.
Well, he cares. He definitely cares.
Not with Snape.
And
I
he'd
feel
ask
like they
questions.
have real similar feelings towards...
How much do you think Filch knows about the third floor? Just that it's...
And see, that's the thing. I think he just knows... He obviously knows about Fluffy, because they literally talk about that beast when Harry walks in on them.
Right.
But I think Filch is easily enough manipulated that Snape can very easily make it seem like he was maybe, I don't know, trying to feed Fluffy, or like trying to make sure children weren't going near Fluffy. Like, Snape, he went to Filch because Filch is easily manipulated.
Okay. It's just an interesting, like, pairing of everybody that you can go to. Like,
Yeah.
And it's not like him and McGonagall don't have a history. They clearly do.
I mean, why didn't he go to Dumbledore?
Or Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he just had a moment there in the teacher's lounge, and literally the only person there was Filch at the time. I don't know. Maybe we're reading way too much into it, which is very possible. So there could be
fans
that.
do that.
Yeah, that's true. But then we get to the actual Quidditch match, and Snape has a very large role in that.
He does.
With the Jinx, counter Jinx kind of mechanism.
He's so easy to set up as the villain of this story in particular. Like, it's so well done.
Yeah. Do you ever think about how people end up as... Because there were people before his turn that were big Snape fans, or people that were big Draco fans early before he had his kind of, like...
Or before he turned good. Well,
I wouldn't even say good. Yeah, but had kind of a change of heart, maybe.
Yeah.
But they were fans of those two characters, like, well before they ever had those.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you looking for? Like, Slytherin is painted such a vivid way early.
Well, because I think just the nature of the beach, and I think we talked about this too in one of the other episodes I was with you, is just like missing kind of that, like, our first read through when you still didn't know what was going to happen and all the fan theories that used to be out there. I think people were trying to find ways to, like, you know, fans love to, they wanted to find the good in this, like, bad boy character.
Mm. Like,
people like to do that even before it's there.
It's fair. Before we cut this spoiler section short to get to the game, I did want to mention
one last big thing.
There's a massive thing.
So
in this chapter.
big, and it's so small.
And I think it took us both by surprise.
Yes.
Because, we've read it, but I think we're both reading this. I'm reading this a little bit differently than I normally do, as kind of like picking things out and being a little bit more analytical than I'm just reading.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about JK putting in things and then dropping it real quick. This is a big thing to just pick up and drop.
Well, and you've also talked a lot about how much JK really had planned out and how much she just, like, went back to. I think this is a thing she had planned
Really?
out. I do. Really? Absolutely.
Interesting. I had the other check out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I think this is one of the things she knew when she just sprinkled this in there that little bit.
Okay.
She knew exactly where that was going.
I did not have you...
I do.
Wow, okay.
I do.
We've known each other for a while, and I'm still learning new things. That I did not have you pegged on that position.
Well, and maybe it's because... So, like, I love Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, for setting up our world. But it's not one I go to and reread a whole lot. I usually go back and reread Prisoner of Azkaban or Deathly Hallows. And so this is probably the first time I've fully read the Quidditch scene in a few years.
Sure.
And I've definitely watched the movie, and they make a big deal out of the scene in the movie.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's where I'm coming from. Like, I thought this was a big deal in the book, too. And it's just not. But I still think she had it planned out. I think she always had that plan for the snitch.
I'm going with this is another small detail and there's several now. I mean, we've talked about the put-outer.
Yeah. The put-outer, I agree with you. I think she just went back and picked that out.
We've talked about Fantastic Beasts, the book, and we talked about Quidditch Through the Ages, the book.
Yeah.
And just little things that she's going back to this first book and pulling. And I think this was one of those things where it's like, what magic could we do with a snitch? Like, what cool thing could that be? It ends up becoming the container that the Resurrection Stone is held in. So I am thinking she sits there and needs a mechanism for this Resurrection Stone to be put in play.
Yeah.
And she goes back and she's like, how does this work? And I think she goes to that and pulls it later. I don't know that she had this plan.
I mean, maybe this wasn't, like, in her very first, like, outline of Harry Potter. Yeah. But I think it was early. I think Deathly Hallows, because, I mean, like, everybody always wonder. I think it's only on the UK edition, but on maybe not. I feel like at one point in time, I heard people always asking about what that symbol was on the spine of all the Harry Potter books, and then you find out in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, it's the Deathly Hallows sign. Mm-hmm. So she obviously had the Deathly Hallows sign figured out. I think early on she figured out where she wanted all of the Hallows hidden. I mean, like, we obviously get the invisibility cloak later on in this book, very shortly in this book. I think she had probably already figured out that Dumbledore has the Elder Wand. So why shouldn't she have already figured out where she was going to hide the Resurrection Stone? I can see, I see where you're coming from. She was looking for a mechanism to hide it. I can see that argument.
Yeah.
But I think she had it planned.
It's an interesting little question. But I also have a question about the snitch, since we're on this topic.
Bring it on.
So, in that Deathly Hallows book, the snitch magic has flesh memories, right?
Yes.
So, here's my question. The snitch. These game snitches for Hogwarts Quidditch, do they use a new snitch per match per game?
They must.
Because obviously previous Seekers would have had to, the other teams would have had to,
because that's also how they figure out the dispute of, if there's a dispute of who caught the snitch.
Right, so you'd have to use a brand new snitch.
Every game.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Well, when you think about it, Hogwarts, it's not as many as for, like, the professional Quidditch league. Like, Hogwarts, there's really how many games every...
Well, 4 teams, they do round robin.
Right. For Hogwarts, I don't think it's really that big a deal. But, like, a professional Quidditch leading into the Quidditch World Cup, that's a lot of snitches.
All right, we're going to pause the spoiler section. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to play a little bit of a game. So please come back, and it's going to be entertaining, that I can tell you. And this will be a little bit more competitive. You hung with us for our Keeper of the Lights trivia. Keeper of the Lights. Oh, wow. My good.
That's embarrassing.
Keeper of the Lights. it's a store in Bayfield, Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
That's the first thing I thought of. Wow. Keeper of the Keys, Chapter 4. We had a trivia. I quizzed Anna. This will be a little bit more competitive since it's me against her specifically. So we might do trivia. We might do a couple other things that we like to nerd out about. Join us.
Nerd out with us.
There you go. We'll be right back.
In the dungeon! General in the dungeon!
All right, so we are back after the spoiler section for game night.
Bring it on!
Because this chapter was Quidditch related, we figured why not have a little game of our own. So what we decided on was trivia. So to decide who goes first with reading questions, we decided to do a version of a lightning round. So we'll each get 30 seconds, Anna and I. And I will have to name as many Dumbledore's army members as I can in that 30 seconds. Anna will have to name as many new Order of the Phoenix members, so current, which way you want to phrase it,
Second Wizarding
modern,
World.
whatever, in 30 seconds. Whoever names the most will read questions to the other first. All right, everybody good? These trivia questions are coming from the Sorcerer's Stone specific Trivial Pursuit game.
Book specific. If anybody remembers when Warner Brothers had a store, we were talking like book specific Sorcerer's Stone Trivial Pursuit.
We really need to go to the New York store because I'm
Oh
sure
my
they
God, I wanna go
they
so
probably
bad.
have like specific trivia.
Anyway,
Side note. All right, so I believe Anna has a timer ready. Who's going first between us right now? I won, so I get the
you
DA.
won, so yeah.
So you'll go first with the
So I'm
members
naming
of the,
first.
members of the order first.
Okay, so then you should keep track of how many I name.
All right.
Guys, we are this intense. Okay.
Oh, we are. This will get intense. Yes.
Okay. Members of the Order of the Phoenix.
Yep.
Ready. And go. Albus Dumbledore, Aberforth Dumbledore, Minerva McGonagall, Mad-Eye Moody, Nymphadora Tonks, Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, Severus Snape, Diggle, Emmeline Vance,
okay.
Fred Weasley, George Weasley, Charlie Weasley, Bill Weasley, Fleur Delacour. I take back Fleur Delacour. She's not a member. Molly Weasley, Arthur Weasley.
That is time. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 total.
Okay.
So I need to mention...
Sorry.
That does not count. We have passed the timer.
Yeah.
So now
Okay.
I get to name members of Dumbledore's army, and I need to get to 17 if possible. That's pushing the total number, though.
It's not.
It's getting close. Okay, here we go.
Ready? And go.
Harry, Ron, Hermione, Neville, Seamus without the H, Dean, Luna, Fred, George, Zachariah Smith, Colin Creevy, Ginny, shoot.
6 seconds.
Oh man. Cho, and her friend Marietta. Cho should count.
I'll give it. I counted Cho. I'll give you Marietta.
Okay.
The sneak. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh, so close.
That's right.
So close. Which other members of the DA did I not get?
Parvati, Lavender.
Oh, Lavender. Yeah, I should have known. Yeah.
Luna. No, you said Luna.
I said Luna.
Ernie, Justin Finch Fletchley, Hannah Abbott, Susan Bones.
The Hufflepuffs. I forgot the Hufflepuffs.
Terry Boot, Michael Corner, only there because of Ginny.
Yeah,
anyway.
I did forget the Huffs. Okay.
All right. So.
Hey, I got Marietta Edgecombe, okay? Give me a little credit.
She's the sneak. Come on. Anywho. So now we're into our, I get to read first, yeah?
Yes, Anna gets to read first. That was a close round. 16 to 14 was close.
It was a close round.
Well done.
All right.
Under the gun of the 30-second clock.
I know. It was intense.
So we get a minute for this trivia round, and we're just reading the questions off the card, and then we'll kind of go back and forth.
And we did decide we would let each other pass.
Yes.
And then circle back.
Yep.
Are we ready?
Nope, but here we go.
And go. What color are Firenze's eyes?
Blue.
Correct. How does Hermione save Harry and Ron from the Devil's Snare?
Oh, she uses a spell of sunlight? I always get this one confused with the movie.
Loser, that's the movie. She uses flame in a jam jar. What type of wood is the handle of the Nimbus 2000 made of?
Mahogany?
Correct. Professor McGonagall studies on what floor of Hogwarts?
Oh, jeez. 4th.
Wrong. First. How many letters are sent from Hogwarts on the third attempt at delivery to Harry?
12.
Correct.
Boom!
All right. And 13 seconds to spare.
Boom! All right. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that round. I'll take that.
Also, to be fair, Firenze's eyes are pale sapphire. But I
blue.
gave it
That
to you.
counts as blue.
I gave it to you. So Dan has 3 after
Hail
the first
Sapphire,
round.
my
3 of
birthstone.
5.
All right. Oh, that was a fun round. Okay. All right. I'm glad it didn't go over. That would have been embarrassing. Editing that out later. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. Are we ready for me?
We are ready.
And go.
Who is the first person to figure out how to put Fluffy to sleep?
Oh, pass.
What are first-year Hogwarts students forbidden to have on school property?
Broomsticks.
Who's,
Am I right?
Yep.
Okay.
Who says, "So, new Gryffindors, I hope you're going to help us with house
Nearly
champion."
headless neck.
Yep. How many beds are there in Harry Potter's Gryffindor dormitory?
5.
Why won't Mr. Dursley allow Harry to sit in the car while Dudley is having his birthday treat at the zoo?
It's new.
Yeah. Yep. So going back to number 1, who is the first person to figure out how to put Fluffy to sleep?
I mean, Hagrid?
Right under the gun, it's Hagrid.
It is?
It is Hagrid.
That's right.
Well done. Well done indeed.
5 for 5.
Well played.
There you go. All right. Ready for round 2? Gonna redeem yourself?
As long as I don't get any more Dragon Conference questions, I'm ready to roll here.
That was our test round. Okay. And go. At the beginning of term feast, Nearly Headless Nick tells the new Gryffindors that he hasn't eaten for how many years?
500.
Ooh, close. 400.
Ugh.
What color does a Remember All turn in order to remind the owner? Yes. In Quidditch, what position is ideal for the smallest and fastest
Seeker.
player? Yeah. What is so unusual about the white chessmen that Harry, Ron, and Hermione find in one of the chambers en route to the Sorcerer's Stone?
It's broken.
They have no faces.
I don't know how to play that. We'll just
Yeah.
pass on that one. I don't
Okay.
know.
Hagrid threatens Uncle Vernon with what object?
An umbrella.
Color.
Pink umbrella.
Correct.
That's how we play trivia here.
Smallest detail, people. Smallest detail. So do you want a question to replace the no faces?
Half point?
I'll give you a half point. That's
Okay.
what I was originally thinking, but sometimes you make fun of me for my half point offers.
It's okay. This makes me want to do other trivia.
Always.
But okay.
Okay. So, ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Who runs Gringotts, the wizard bank?
Goblins.
Yeah. Who owns the brother wand to Harry Potter's?
Voldemort.
How old is Nicholas Flamel?
Ooh. Oh, Nicholas Flamel.
Yeah.
542.
No.
How old?
665 years old. What sort of creature is the official house mascot for Hufflepuff?
A badger.
Yeah. After their visit to Diagon Alley, what non-magic food do Harry and Hagrid eat at the station while they are waiting for their train that will return Harry to the Dursleys? Wow. Okay.
Steak and kidney pie?
No.
Darn.
Hamburgers.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Redeem myself. Redeem yourself. All right.
Hey. Who's still winning?
By
Mr.
a
Half Point.
point and a half. Okay.
That's right. All right. 3 cards left.
Yep.
And go. What special treat does Rubius Hagrid feed Norbert when he is 3 weeks old?
It's probably like flesh of something. I don't know. No, I don't know.
We'll pass. Which first year course at Hogwarts is easily the most boring?
Oh, History of Magic.
Correct. Who teaches the Defense Against the Dark Arts class?
Girl.
That was dumb. Can I get a first name?
You should have seen that stare that I just gave her right now.
Where are the books containing powerful dark magic spells kept at Hogwarts?
It's the gosh, what's the name of it? It's the restricted section of the library. Thank you.
Correct.
Whoa.
Good job.
Brain fart.
To what city does Aunt Petunia take Dudley Dursley to buy his new school uniform?
London.
Correct. And going back to
stone cakes.
What special treat does Norbert eat? Rats.
Oh, rats. No, I wasn't gonna get that. I was like, what treats do Hagrid like? He's been known to give like weird off the wall
Fair enough.
food to some of his creatures.
Fair enough. All right. So, well, let's go ahead and
finish your round
and then
here.
we'll do a score check-in.
Okay.
All right. Ready? And go.
Who is Argus Filch's trusty sidekick?
Mrs. Norris.
Who first hears Ron Weasley and Harry Potter talking in front of the Mirror of Erised?
Who first hears them talking?
Mm-hmm.
Pass.
Who is Keeper of the Keys at Hogwarts?
Rubius Hagrid.
Last time we did trivia on here. What is the combination of bricks in the wall behind the leaky cauldron that Rubius Hagrid counts in order to enter Diagon Alley?
3 is somehow involving 3. 3 down into the side.
No. It's 3 up and 2 across.
Fine.
Harry thinks that Dudley Dursley's best friend has a face like what?
A rat.
All right, going back. Who first hears Ron Weasley and Harry Potter talking in front of the Mirror of Erised?
Isn't it Dumbledore?
No.
Because he's invisible. Fine, is it Filch?
Sort of. It's Mrs. Norris again.
Ugh.
Got a twofer on
cat,
Mrs. Norris.
That darn cat.
Where are we at on the scores, Amy?
All right, I have 11. You have 9.5.
Oh, that half point is killing me right now.
So it does. So it does,
Lord.
Dan. You got 2 cards.
You be the judge. Should I get the full point for that or not? Let us know.
All right.
I'm answering. Okay.
And go. What creature lives in the lake by Hogwarts?
There's a lake by Hogwarts?
Fine. What does Rubius Hagrid do in order to enter Diagon Alley? Well, this isn't fair.
He taps the bricks with his pink umbrella.
Correct.
She really wanted pink umbrella on that.
I did want pink umbrella. It's on the card. Dumbledore states that people will insist on giving him books for Christmas. What does he tell Harry that he would rather have?
Isn't it like knitted socks or something like that? Something like socks? No?
I'll give it to you. Woolen socks.
Woolen socks, okay.
What colors are the end-of-term feast decorations in the Great Hall before Albus Dumbledore makes his announcements?
Oh, it's green and silver.
Correct. The Leaky Cauldron is sandwiched between which 2 non-magic shops?
Oh, jeez. I have no idea. Can we go back to the first one?
I know you only have
Never mind. That's all right.
Giant Squid was the answer to the first one.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't wrong with the creature that I said.
You weren't, but Sorcerer's Stone. Remember Sorcerer's
I know,
Stone.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I was too advanced for this game. My bad.
Look at me. I'll give you another half point.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Look at that. Now
I'm
you
not
have
even.
a full 12 points. All right.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Oh,
And
my goodness
go.
gracious. Who casts a spell that causes the Troll's own club to knock it unconscious?
Ron Weasley.
Thank you for the clarification. Harry Potter's wand has a core of what magical substance?
Phoenix Feather.
First year students are required to purchase gloves made from what material?
Dragonhide.
The words engraved on the second set of doors at Gringotts warn visitors to beware of finding what?
More than what they seek.
No.
Okay.
Finding more than treasure there.
Oh, yeah.
What product does Mr. Dursley's company produce? Oh, we totally had this. Oh.
Drill.
See, listeners, when we mention there's a trivia topic that comes up in our show, our episodes, we mean it.
You should make note.
We are
of what
trivia
we say.
pros.
All right.
That's why Trolls in the Dungeon always wins.
Cheers to
Cheers.
that. All right,
Oh, my
final
goodness.
card.
All right, here we go.
You ready here, boyo?
Nope. Here we go.
And go. Where does the owl carry the money Harry pays him for delivering Hagrid's paper to the hut on the rock?
A pouch.
Think like where
the destination goes?
Leather pouch. Leather pouch. I'll take it. How does Harry Potter receive his invisibility cloak?
As a gift on Christmas from Dumbledore.
Well, that's okay. What color are the bludgers in a Quidditch game?
Wait, sorry. What was that again?
What color are the bludgers?
Oh, they're like jet black.
Wow, that was exact. Go you. After their wild adventure with Norbert, Harry, Neville, and Hermione are assigned attention from Professor McGonagall. Where does she tell them to meet Argus Filch?
Oh, on the edge of the Forbidden Forest.
Incorrect. 24 letters from Hogwarts arrive at the Dursleys' house, rolled up and hidden inside of what?
Rolled up and hidden inside
6 seconds.
Briefcase. I don't know.
Think food.
Tacos. No.
2 dozen eggs.
Nope. Would not have gotten that one.
And the entrance hall is where they're supposed to meet Filch.
Oh, okay. They end up going.
They do go to the Forbidden Forest.
It's another half point. Damn it. No.
Fine. I'll give it to you. I'll give you a half point. Such a baby. Anyway, ready?
Wait. What do we? Where
we
are we
are
at?
currently at. You have. I gave you full points. That's a little messed up there. You got 10, 15, 16. You have 17, and I have 15.
Ooh, okay. Big pressure on the final card. Final card. Everybody, here we go.
And
whenever you are ready.
Go.
Peeves is afraid of which Hogwarts resident?
Bloody Baron.
Who gave Ron Weasley the color-changing spell that he attempted to use on Scabbers?
Fred Weasley.
No.
It's George?
George.
Darn it. All right, go.
After they have finished their end-of-year exams, how long do the first-year students have to wait for the results? That's tough.
Pass.
Okay. From which platform number does the Hogwarts Express depart?
9 3/4.
Why is Harry Potter surprised that Dudley Dursley wants a racing bike for his birthday?
Because he doesn't exercise?
He doesn't exercise, is correct.
Oh, okay. And then what's the one I passed on?
After they have finished their
how long
end-of-year
do they have
exams,
to wait?
how long do they have to wait?
Is it a full week?
Final answer?
Yeah.
1 week.
Oh, that's
right in the buzzer.
That's right. Booyah! That is a final score of Dan having 17 and Anna having 19.
She beats me by 2 again.
Ooh, what's my prize?
So close. This was typical of our rounds of trivia, where A, we're aggressive. B, we end up being very close towards the end.
Yeah.
It's always competitive in the best way possible. So I love doing it. And we do have, just real quick here before we wrap up, I know we've gone long. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. But we do have a bracket, and we might revisit it later on in the series when we have more characters.
We have to now that we've looked at it again.
Yeah, we brought this out. We did it a couple of years ago. But it's a bracket of Harry Potter characters that are, and their importance to the series is how we set this up originally. We honestly haven't finished. We were only like a quarter of the way through this thing.
We were intense.
We were very intense, and we had big, long philosophical discussions on each matchup.
We got into arguments.
We got into arguments with each other and with ourselves about what we thought about characters. So we're going to revisit it. We might revisit it as more characters come in through the series, or the Quidditch World Cup. We might do a bracket thing for that. So be on the lookout. Follow us on the Twitter at HogwartsApod. Again, my Twitter is at Daniel_Allen44.
Come debate with me in the comments.
There you go. She's very active in the comments. So after every episode, believe me. So hope you enjoyed this. It was really fun bringing the trivia to you. Hope we can do it again. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Thank you for listening to Hogwarts, a podcast. If you like what you've heard, please click the subscribe button on your preferred podcasting app and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at HogwartsApod.